Hello and welcome to Chinese Grand Prix weekend. A bit of a delayed start. That was just listening to an absolute fire intro, thanks to Sky Sports. But whoa, holy heck, okay, flipping heck. Yeah, I was just listening to probably one of the most firest intros you could probably ever listen to. So don't mind me. It's absolutely fire. The intro's absolutely flipping fire. But yeah, we're about to get free practice 1 underway. Should be exciting, actually. Should be somewhat exciting. I'm actually not sure what's going on here, to be completely honest with you. Okay, hello, everybody. Just trying to find. I'm not practice 9 minutes. Okay. Have they changed the sprint format or something? Have they changed the practice sprint format? Or am I schizo? Have Fox Sport? Okay, good. Okay. Don't worry. Any day now, please. Any day. Run me the intro. Where's the intro? Excuse me. Any day now. Any day now would be perfectly fine. Where's the intro? I sat 3 minutes live and still haven't run an intro. Fox Sports, what are you doing? Get a life before I give you one. I'm live. I've been live for 3 minutes and I still have not found an intro. Oh, flippin' heck. You're kidding me, aren't you? You're actually kidding me. You are telling me Fox Sports were late to running their ad breaks. They ran an ad break. Oh my god. That is a typical for... Oh, okay.
A smaller turbo for a lot more...
Well, you guys don't get an F1 intro. You guys don't get an intro. You don't get an intro. Because Fox Sports decided to... Fox Sports decided to run their intros. They decided to run an ad break 4 minutes before the session starts. And guess what's happening now? The session is starting and they haven't run an intro. Fox Sports suck. Wow, that sucks. That really does suck. And the only intro they have is copyrighted. So if I roll that, the flipping heck, I'll get banned. Now, free practice 1. About to roll out. The car sitting at the end of the pit lane. Yeah, I know. Not very good. Ted Kravitz down on the pit lane.
Weather. It's perfectly warm, Crofty. Look, no shorts, but I do have the shirts out, so no problem here. But I'm interested in this man, the 4-time world champion, Max Verstappen. And it's a funny one, Crofty, because you know this Shanghai International Circuit was built on a swamp. Yes, that's not a joke. It was built back in 2003, 2004 on swampland. But Max called it earlier in the weekend. He said that F1 is a jungle out there at the moment. But what interests me is that, as you know, Crofty, the king of the jungle is the lion. And who sports the Dutch lion on the top of his crash helmet? Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen, exactly. So we're expecting to see a bit more of a showing from Verstappen, who was compromised by that crash in qualifying just a few days ago in Melbourne to challenge the Ferrari you're talking about and the pace-setting Mercedes, which only leaves us to say, where will the world champion Lando Norris be this weekend? Another storyline I'll be keeping on top of. In the pit.
Thank you very much. If I can then misquote Axl Rose, welcome to the jungle. We've got fun and games. And straight out onto the track.
Straight out onto the track go the drivers. But yes, it'll be interesting to see what Max can do this weekend. We did see last weekend in qualifying, he did have a crash. Turn 1, the rear of the car just failed on him. Spun into the gravel, and consequently into the barrier. That put Max in position 20. He put on a recovery drive, finished P5. We saw that last year in Brazil. Started from the pit lane. Round goes one of the Alpines. Is that that is Franco Colapinto around, and good question, where is that? That is Franco Colapinto on the outlap, spun around.
Franco. To be honest, Franco Colapinto, whatever he does this weekend, he excelled himself at the start last weekend, and that near escape. Every time I see it, I still wonder how he managed to avoid Liam Lawson. I was chatting to Franco yesterday, and he was like, "Yeah, I still don't want to watch it too much because it was a lot closer than I ever thought it was." Let's have a little look at what happened with Franco here.
Whoa. Nah, that's not dry the error.
There's an outlap as well.
Yeah, break by wire type issue, or one of these where all the braking energy goes straight to the rear brakes and the engine doesn't do the braking for you.
It's exactly what we saw happen to Verstappen, wasn't it? It'll be at a much higher speed into turn one. So that's just one of these complexities with these modern power units, where as soon as the electric motor hands over to the actual mechanical rear brakes, it can have you point in the opposite direction.
Now, Lando Norris is right behind Lewis Hamilton down at the hairpin, and I think just trying to make himself a little bit of a gap so he can go on a lap, but there's no gap there whatsoever, is there? Because I think Lewis was trying to make a bit of a gap. Let's have a look at, well, he's just got out a shot there at the Ferrari rear wing. We're focusing on the McLaren, but everyone wants to see the flippy 180 Ferrari rear wing, which I'm going to call the Luke Littler rear wing, because it goes 180, yeah?
Yeah, you do that.
What happened here? Lando was going to overtake him, and Lewis was like, no, that got a bit close, didn't it?
Did they even touch? I saw something. It's just maybe some debris on the track, but
Lewis is like,
I think they did touch. You know, I think maybe Lewis has got some floor damage from that.
Feisty to start with.
Lewis has now gone off the track. That was a bit more feisty than you would expect.
I think he's had more than just an off correct. I think he might have spun out. He's got flat spots on his tyres there.
Yeah, he has. Front right.
Down into turns
Front
all of
left.
them. He must have spun around. He must have, to get all four, he must have spun around in turn 6. Let's have a watch.
Whoa.
Wow. And again, not driver error.
He was quite wide over to the left-hand side on the white line, but I don't think it was that.
Ooh, I'm just wondering. It happens just as his rear wing was closing.
Breaks up top.
Yeah, it's more of a MGUK problem than an aero problem, I should imagine. So yeah, I mean, it just completely lock up. He's right.
Valtteri Bottas, formerly of Mercedes, now of Cadillac, and George Russell going wheel to wheel around that banked corner at the start of the back straight. And you can see George Russell with the active air.
Sorry, Elizabeth.
Needed me. As they come into the
Not ideal. Sorry, Elizabeth.
Trying to make a little bit of space here, and they're all tripping over each other.
Yeah, the driver tracker's gone down, so we can't actually see the positions of the cars on track. But there's quite a lot. I wonder if that's a problem for the teams. I wonder if the teams are struggling with GPS out there.
Sorry, Elizabeth. Oh, that was a nightmare. Sorry. Yeah. Free practice 1. The cars are out on track now. Yeah, free practice 1. Cars are out on track. Sorry about that. My dad needed me. That sucks because I missed like 5 minutes now. But yeah, the cars are out on track now. 6 minutes in. Bit of a recap for those people that missed it in Australia. George Russell, Mercedes 1-2 last weekend. Mercedes very much do look strong in the first part of this season. They do look strong, very much indeed. We've also got this weekend, yeah, Mercedes, they do look strong. They're leading the constructors. George Russell leads the drivers. Kimi Antonelli sits second in the Drivers' Championship. Yeah, Mercedes, they just look strong so far this weekend. They've been strong throughout the past couple of weeks as well. Oscar Piastri, we are on board with. The guy finished third best last season. saying in Australia. He's been reflecting on it. He's been wondering what he could have done a little bit better. It was a bit on the team's side as to what they did wrong, I would like to say. But yeah, only one practice session this weekend. So the teams are very much lacked in the information they have, a very limited amount of information as well. Charles Leclerc pops himself up at a P2, a 1 minute 35.5, but of course the track is still quite green in the early part of this session. The first car is actually out on track, second car is out on track today. We've had Porsche Carrera Cup Asia out on track for free practice. That was a couple of hours ago, but apart from that, these are the first cars out on track, and it's the F1, the main category, is out on the second lot of cars out on track. Lewis Hamilton, big rear lock up and around he goes. He does get into the gravel. Can he get the car out though? That was a big rear lock up. It was the rear wing. The rear wing. Again, these new F1 cars, they're brand new. There are going to be faults. But look at that. That is Max Verstappen-esque in terms of the way that car just locked up and straight around. Again, these F1 cars are unpredictable at their best. And that's what happens. Lewis Hamilton there, locked up, straight around. He did end up getting in the gravel. But that was Max Verstappen-esque, like we saw in Australia. The rear wing does have its little moments, sort of. So what happens there is the active aero that is on these cars. Now, there's active aero and there's straight mode. So straight mode is used in the race. It is same with active aero. So both are used in the race, except straight mode are not used in practice or qualifying. Norris and Hamilton incident noted, turn 16. So that is the final corner. We'll see what happens out of that from the FIA. Now, there are two modes coming into this year. It is straight mode and active aero. So what happens is both, not only the rear wing, unlike last year where you had the DRS, where the rear wing went down, and that gave you that bit more sort of downforce. The cars have less downforce this year. So both front and rear wing go up, and that gives you more straight line speed, whereas the rear wing last year went down, and that gave you more downforce and sort of gave you more downforce and a bit more straight line speed. It's sort of the way, it's sort of both ways this year with the active aero. When it goes down, it gives you both straight line speed and downforce through both of the corners. But when that stuffs up and the rear wing goes the opposite way, virtual safety car has been deployed. I wonder why that is. Is there debris out on track? I wonder if there is actually. Virtual safety car is out in the early part of free practice 1 here, but just going to keep explaining as to exactly how the straight mode and all that sort of stuff works. So how that works is when the rear wing sort of stuffs up, unlike what it normally would, what would happen is the rear wheels would just not communicate. There it is. That looks to be a glass shard down on track there. I'm not sure what that is, but our brave marshal's out there now recovering that. So we should get back to green flag here at some point. But yeah, good job from marshals there to recover that. This is Gabriel Bortoleto. Is this Lewis Hamilton style lockup? Nope, it is the front tyres. So again, it's the active aero. The front wing, it's the same with the rear wing. When the front wing doesn't cooperate like it should, when it stays up, the car has it has no way to react. When the rear wing goes up and the front wing stays down, the car has no way to react. It's differed on downforce. Isaac Hadjar getting a good taste of what looks to be an I don't know what that is. Isaac Hadjar?
Traffic's unbearable.
This traffic is unbearable, says Isaac Hadjar. But yeah, as I said, when the front wing and rear wing are sort of unbalanced, if you would call it, the car has no way to react. So the first thing the car does is the front wheels lock up and you have no grip. That's practically what happens. You have no grip, and that's what the drivers are experiencing right now. So FIA have said no further investigation. Norris and Hamilton turn 16 collision. Don't think we've seen that. See if our camera crew has a replay of that at some point. Hopefully we do get a replay. But yeah, the only free practice session this week. And then of course we've got sprint qualifying tomorrow. Tonight from 6:30. Sprint qualifying tonight. So it's a short turnaround. We've got F1 Academy, 2 sessions coming out on track next, qualifying. And then there's about an hour break for F1 Academy before then getting out on track for qualifying. So it is a short turnaround for F1 Academy this weekend. It is a very short turnaround between practice and qualifying. So you damage the car there, you could be in a bit of trouble. So yeah, F1 Academy will be next out on track here in China. Then we're back out on track for F1. Sprint qualifying tonight from 5 minutes past 6. We will be on air from 5:30 for the build-up to sprint qualifying. Should be fun. Max Verstappen making his way out of the final corner and run to the line. P5, about a second off the pace. Look at that. Mercedes 1-2. Mercedes 1-2. Ted Kravitz in the pit lane.
Came in. I think the car is okay, but he's just sitting there, not going anywhere at the moment. The car is now fixed already from whatever issue it had before that meant that caution. But yeah, just not getting the laps in that Williams so desperately need.
And they do.
They do. They do need the laps here because, of course, remember, they oh, Jesus. They missed out on testing the shakedown in Barcelona. So they are about 3 weekends behind. That is a stranded RB. Who is that? Who is that off the track? That looks to possibly be Liam Lawson, I think. Will we get a virtual safety car here? Or what will happen? What will the FIA think of that? The stewards might have something to say with that. FIA might throw a virtual safety car, actually. Just to try and push that car a bit further in the barrier. But that is Arvid Lindblad. There you go. So Arvid Lindblad he's actually had a moment. You can see on the halo there. A bit of dirt, a bit of dust. Virtual safety car, there you go. So VSC once more deployed. Second of this free practice session. The second virtual safety car in this session. Wow. So there you go. Arvid Lindblad. What has happened here? Arvid Lindblad making his way down the straight. It's after the hip. Oh. Smoke coming out of the cockpit of that car. Is that like an exhaust failure? I don't even know what's happened there. Something has failed though. In the front end of that car. Arvid Lindblad. That is after turn 15. After the hairpin. But there you go. Arvid Lindblad out of free practice 1. Only 1 practice session as well. That is 45 minutes gone. Yeah. That will put Arvid Lindblad on the back foot for the rest of the weekend. They're 45 minutes behind now in their run plan. Well, they don't have a run plan anymore. Practice done for RB. Arvid Lindblad is out. That will put them very far behind this weekend. And to be honest, there's a very short turnaround between this session and sprint qualifying. It's only a couple hours, so it's only really 2.5 hours. But by the time this session ends, and by the time these cars hit the track for sprint qualifying, it's only probably 2 hours or so. And that's what I meant by F1 Academy. They've got a very short turnaround. Probably less than 30-40 minutes this weekend, F1 Academy. So, very short turnaround. Very, very short indeed. But yeah, that will be very annoying for the RB team. 44 minutes to go. The cars are still out on track. It's only a virtual safety car, not a red flag. So, a virtual safety car has been thrown in this session to try and push that car. Rod Medino's sporting director for Mercedes AMG. We're very happy with what he's seeing at the moment. There is a 7/10 gap back to Ollie Behrman in position 3. Teams making their way back to the pit lane. Maybe knowing that some of this running is not very useful going at 80 k's an hour around the Shanghai circuit. But yeah, 43 minutes to go left in this first free practice session. Fernando Alonso, the Aston Martin team, they retired their car at the end of Australia. Well, even 10 laps in, they retired the car. They did not expect this Honda engine to last very long, and that it didn't. Did not last very long whatsoever there for Aston Martin. 43 minutes to go on the virtual safety car as we try and get the Arvid Lindblad car back to the pit lane. Yeah. Fox Sports have gone to an ad break again, so that's convenient. That's very convenient. Very, very convenient. Yeah, oh, perfect. Wow, that's timed. Wow. That is some timing. So yeah, back to green flag whilst Fox Sports was at that break. Back to green flag now. Because Fox Sports don't have rights to, well, really, actually, Australia don't have rights to show the F1. So what Sky Sports have done is they're like, well, what F1 has done, they're like, you have to run ad breaks now during the practice sessions. So you don't run those, we won't allow you to show you the coverage. That's practically what Sky Sports have done. Let's send it now down to down to the track. We've got one of our reporters out there.
Of turn 2, you can see turn 1 actually directly opposite me, and then it comes straight into turn 3, which is actually quite a downhill left-hander, and quite big differences in the lines that drivers are taking here. It's the Mercedes that seems to be able to keep the car just half a car width over to the right to open up turn 3 a little bit more, and I think all the drivers are just trying to get laps under their belt, get used to the deployment, but mechanically the drivers are going to be searching for that mid-corner rotation in the low speed. Corners like this, they're tight, they're downhill, it's hard to get the car rotated and turned and ultimately get it straight, because it's a huge amount of deployment that the drivers are now experiencing on the corner exit. So it's interesting, it's now a little bit of a moment of peace. We've not got so many cars out, but yeah, at the beginning of the session, there's a lot of different drivers experimenting with different lines, and also gear usage. Alpine trying a higher gear usage, which sounded a little bit weird, but yeah, maybe something to try there.
Indeed. Thank you. Sitting at turn number 1 and turn number 2, it is quite a drop. So once that uphill run into turn number 1, go around probably a 180 degree corner, and then again drop back down into turn number 3. Turn 2 isn't really a corner, it's half a corner. Half a corner. What's half 180? I don't even ask me. Don't even ask me. Charles Leclerc up at a P2, 134.4. Again, that's what I was saying. When the drivers are on the track walk, when they did the track walk Tuesday, I think the drivers did it. I did watch a thing on the F1 YouTube page when they did the track walk. The drivers had their reactions to it, and let me tell you this much: they were surprised at just how steep turn 1 was. Of course, all these drivers have raced here before. It's an optional track walk, but some of them were genuinely like some of the newbies that have come through F2. Lando Norris, though, taking a look. Turn 1 is this car, very snappy. So that is the Active Aero not doing what it's meant to. See the rear wing still up, bang! That is a big amount of opposite lock, and after the opposite lock, he's had a big lock up. So front and rear wing not cooperating on the front of that McLaren car, and that's just led to a bit of an oversteer moment and a lock-up. So oversteer and a lock-up, look, you think of oversteer and understeer, that's just all cures for bad. But when you get oversteer then a lock-up, it's just like, it's like trying to bite into a hard donut. It's painful. It's stale donut. That's my word. That's the word I was trying to think of. It's like trying to bite into a stale donut. It's painful. It is genuinely painful. A stale cracker. It's painful. It's not nice. for those people that have experienced that, it's not nice. You know, when you open those crackers, and you grab one out. You know when you grab a set of crackers that have just been sitting there, and you're like, oh, surely these aren't stale. You open them, you grab a cracker, you bite into it, and it's just like stale and hard. It's not nice. That's sort of like what a car, like what an F1 car would do when it's oversteering and locking up. It's just not nice. It's painful. It's painful. Is that your new quote? Says Elizabeth. Yeah. It's like biting into a stale donut. Yeah, I suppose. Old donut. Well, no, like... No, well... No, stale. Stale. It's stale. Stale, you know, hard. Stale. That's what I meant. I didn't actually mean like hard donut. I meant stale. If that makes more sense. It probably doesn't. My words never make sense. Oh, stale, my bad. All good. But yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I meant, like stale donut. It's just not nice. Yeah, new quote. Put that in your quotes list, Elizabeth. You can use that next time. Oscar Piastri, though, making his run now up into turn 11. This is the flick left and the flick right. So the cars make their run through. There with a Haas in the way of that McLaren. But yeah, again, of course, brand new system in terms of the battery deployment as well. Battery is very much a big part, which I'm not very happy about. And most of the F1 community isn't very happy about it. That McLaren looked quite good under brakes there. Just heading into the hairpin. Ted Kravitz down on the pit lane.
Kimi Antonelli's side pods in Australia that came out because they didn't notice it. Well, they have indeed changed the colour of the high-vis tape from green. You can see it's still green on the side, but they've changed it to yellow, which stands out now much more against the some of the green flashes on the car. So there's a preponderance of yellow high-vis tape all around this garage now. Look, the stands, all the air filters, all the fans and everything, they're all bedecked in this yellow high-vis day glow tape to make sure that no mechanic now can let the car go without it. So yeah, before green, which they seem to blend in with some of the Petronas branding, now yellow. Nice little change there. A fix to make sure that doesn't happen again. What happened in Australia? Forgive me.
So for those people that are wondering, Kimi Antonelli, in qualifying, sent the car out. Sorry, no, it was in practice, should I say. No, qualifying. I can't remember. Might have been qualifying or practice. I think it was qualifying. Mercedes team, let Kimi Antonelli's car out with still things on it. The FIA, big no-no. Big no-no. You cannot do that. Flipping heck, what do you think you are? Set the car out, and the thing that was still on the car, the big air blower to keep the car cool, fell off, and then on ice, straight over it, blew it up, and it was all over the track. That was back in Australia, less than 4 days ago. So that's what Ted Kravitz is talking about down there on the pit lane. For those people that are wondering, and it blew up, and the FIA wasn't very happy about that. So penalty was applied to Kimi Antonelli after that one. Actually, no, sorry, it was a loss of points for Mercedes, I think. So there you go. That would explain that. That would explain that. Ollie Bearman sits P4 at the moment in this session. Personal best through the first sector. Not so quick through the second sector. About a second down as we speak here. And the Haas Toyota Gazoo Racing Team. A Toyota car in the back of this, Toyota engine in the back of this car. Now for Oliver Bearman, making his run down with the active arrow applied to the car. See the car as it makes its run into the braking zone. Turn 14 now. Flip the car in and get the power down on the exit. But yeah, now this season is very much about how you use the battery. How you use that battery will be quite important. Oliver Bearman up into stays P4, 136.3. I think he's doing a bit of a race run. Here's Ollie Bearman. But yeah, as I was saying, battery is quite a big play here. So how you use that battery, how you recharge the battery. Of course, you cannot physically turn it on or recharge mode on the on the battery now. You have different ways of conserving that battery. Lifting off, sort of, LICO, as you'd call it. Lift and coast into the corner. So lift and coast is sort of like lift off the throttle. Let the car use its drag, if you know what I mean. Drag, let the car drag into the corner. Let it sort of slow down, like engine braking. That's sort of a way to conserve. Braking as well. Brakes into the corner, using the brakes. Of course you should. But a bit more energy on the brakes saves more power as well. Those are the two ways to do that. And there's probably a few other ways that the drivers have unlocked. Yeah, those are the two main ways you can conserve the battery. And this year, Sky Sports Feed have actually talked about this quite a lot. Drivers are going to now have to figure out ways out how to save that battery a bit more efficiently than just lifting and coasting. Yes, in that process, it does save fuel. You do not need to save fuel, though, because the cars are perfectly fueled up to get to the end. Unlike back in the 90s, where you actually physically did have to refuel the car. That was fun. Lewis Hamilton, though, out on the soft compound tyres. At the moment, doing a run on the soft compound tyres. The tyres are smaller this year as well. The rubber, the rims are smaller. The rubber is smaller. So, again, with smaller rubber, means less rubber goes onto the circuit. Less downforce, meaning the track gets cleaned a little bit less than what it did last year. The cars still have downforce. They don't have as much, though. It's not 1,000 kilos of downforce. Probably half than quarter that. About 200 or 300 kilos of downforce. Still a lot, but tracks like you've got corners like Shanghai Turn 1, where it's quite a high speed corner. You're not able to fully flat that as much as you were. I'm not saying that Turn 1 is flat through Shanghai. For example, Turn 16 there. That's not flat anymore. You have to actually lift to get the car through. I think you even have to brake through Turn 16. Whereas last year, fully flat, you were able to send the car in. For example, as well, Turn 1, Japan, you actually physically have to brake for Turn 1. I know, it's depressing for those people that know what I mean. If you know, you know. But you physically have to brake now. Unlike what you did in 2025, where you could almost flat it through some of these corners. For example, Turn 1. You cannot flat it through Turn 2. Dude, we saw Mercedes dominating every other car. Then what do you think about them for the rest of the year? Mercedes in Australia, very dominant. Yes, they were. They were very dominant. I'm going to say they could stay that way. I think Mercedes still have the pace in them. I think they still do. Perez over the radio.
Well done.
Perez over the radio there. Sort of saying, as the meme goes around here, good boy to Cadillac. As the meme goes. But, back to what Aaron X Light said. Dude, we saw Mercedes dominating every other car. Then what do you think about them for the rest of the season? I'm going to say it's going to be a bit like McLaren in the way that they were dominant through the first part of the season. I reckon they'll drop off and every other team will catch up with them. I think it might be the way that sort of the way McLaren held it last year. It might be the same. Unless I could be completely wrong. Again, I could be completely wrong. But we'll see. We'll see. We shall see. We shall see how Mercedes fare for this weekend. As to if they can even keep up that consistency they had last season. We'll see. We shall see. We shall see. See if they can actually keep up that consistency. Yeah, 25 minutes to go left in this session. Oscar Piastri, personal best through the first two sectors. As he makes his run now into turn 14. Under brakes, choose your braking marker. Turn 14 into the hairpin and out the other side. Get the power down on the exit through turn 15. Now into the final corner, turn 16. Flip the car in. not fully flat. Oscar Piastri, a bit of a sideways moment on the exit. That would have cost him a few tenths, but he's up into position 3. Was possibly that a qualifying simulation from Oscar Piastri there. We do know the heat here in Shanghai will be a big play. Maybe the soft tyres won't work as well as what they did in Australia. We did see a few drivers actually running the medium tyres. Oscar Piastri now off the road into turn number 1. That was probably a few laps ago. Oscar Piastri did improve.
Forward. Oscar, both cars have had that snap quite regularly.
Yeah, again, Oscar Piastri a snap into turn number 1. We did see that Lando Norris a while ago. Oscar Piastri off the road. That was that snap at the final corner we just saw. It sent the car slightly wide. This is Lewis Hamilton, the 7-time world champion. Makes his run down the back straight here at Shanghai and into the braking zone. Probably brake at the 150 meter board and get this car slowed down. As I said a few moments ago, not as much downforce in these cars. And I'm not saying the hairpin is flat. No hairpin is flat. But again, you can see there, Lewis Hamilton actually physically had to lift there to get the car through the final corner. Lewis Hamilton now up into position 2. That is a 134.3 for himself on the soft compound tyres. And still, on the soft tyres, we do not have... Actually, to be honest, I don't know how many laps Lewis Hamilton has done on those softs. But he's only gone second. He's only gone second to George Russell. There you go. So, Lewis Hamilton, fun fact, won the 1000th World Championship event at the 2019 Chinese Grand Prix. There you go. Fun fact from Lewis Hamilton. He won the 1000th World Championship event. There you go. Well, what would this make it then? 1,365? I think. Would this make it the 1,365th Grand Prix event? No, 366. Possibly. I could be wrong. Because it's... no, that wouldn't be. Flippin' heck. Where do you think I am? It's not 2020. Wow, my math is way off. Jeez, not 2020. Woo! Oh, I had a shocker. Oh, wow, I've had a shocker. That's shocking. That is very depressing for me to think that. Wow. I've had a shocker. That's shocking. That is absolutely shocking. But yeah. Oh, wow. But yeah, back to my point. Lewis Hamilton only gone second on those soft compound tyres. I don't know how many laps he's actually done on those softs, but yeah, to be only second to that Mercedes, when you think of last year, Isaac Hadjar, replay up on the curb and maybe just got a bit distracted by the Ferrari up in front of Lewis Hamilton. Was it the curb, possibly? Yeah, that was the curb. That was the curb, my friend. And front left there of that medium tyre will have a flat spot on it. It will very much have a flat spot on it. This is Gabriel Bortoleto in the Audi. Up the curb into turn number 1, and the car just got a bit sideways. So what's your today's prediction? For today in general, if I'm going to say, sprint qualifying, Mercedes. Kimi Antonelli. I have faith. I have faith in Kimi Antonelli. I think he might grab pole a bit later on today. I think he might grab pole. He's going to do it. I can feel it. Kimi Antonelli can do it. If the car is not like a Red Bull and is uneven, if the car is not... Yeah. If it's not a Red Bull car... It's not like Red Bull, then Kimi should be able to do it. If Russell can do it, Kimi can do it. That's my thought on the way. That's my thought. But yeah. Welcome in, Adam. Hello. Nice to see you again, man. Welcome in. Welcome. Well, Kimi over George. Yes, Kimi Antonelli. I have a feeling Kimi can do it. Kimi might just be able to grab pole. He was so close. Kimi was so close in Australia. He can do it. Come on, Kimi. You can do it. Kimi was so close in Australia. I have a feeling he can do it. So close. Yeah, we are not having school tomorrow because there's a crazy storm here, so I'm staying up late. Awesome. but George is better than Kimi in terms of driving and skill. Well, yeah, good point. I mean, these cars are almost this year. It's going to be driving and skill. In the way that if you think about it that way, yeah. These cars are almost skill-based. It's not genuine pace anymore. It's not genuine pace anymore. So you do have a point. But Kimi has been in the sport now for a year. Again, yes, they're new cars. Yes, the cars are new. It doesn't mean he still can't grab pole. It doesn't mean. On board with Franco Colapinto, that was probably 3 lockups through turn 1 and turn 2. That was very strange. So, what happened there? Mid-corner, the car locked up, snapped sideways. Into turn 2, car locked up, snapped sideways. Turn 3, car locked up, snapped sideways. 3 lots of bang lockup, bang lockup, bang lockup. That car, that Alpine, looks like it's on skates. That was very strange. And on the exit, you can see the rubber almost falling off the tyre of Franco Colapinto's car. That looked scary. From literally, I saw Franco Colapinto go bang lockup, bang lockup, bang. The car just did not want to turn. Yeah, it didn't look nice. Didn't look nice whatsoever. Ted Kravitz in the pit lane.
And then your whole balance.
Not Ted Kravitz. Whoops, thought it was Ted Kravitz. But that is a stranded Alpine. That's Franco Colapinto in the pit lane. Stopped in the pit lane. Now, must I say, it has been 6 minutes since we saw that. Yes, it has not been 6 minutes. You can all laugh and joy at me. It has not been 6 minutes. I'm not crazy. Fox Sports, here in Australia, went to an ad break, for those people that are wondering. But Franco Colapinto has come back to the pit lane after probably 2 or 3 laps and has stopped. Will they close pit lane? Entry. There's a yellow flag out in the pit lane. The Alpine team are making their way down. Will they actually go virtual safety car? No, I don't think they will. No, I think they might just close pit lane entry here. The Alpine team might have to start turning around here because the Alpine has started to move again. Yep, so they've run all the way down to go all the way back. That's some good exercise for the Alpine team there. And coincidentally, there's no one in the Alpine pit box. Because all the crew members have run all the way down there just to run all the back. Again, look at that graining on the front left of that Alpine. Look at the tyre graining. The tyre looks awful. I don't even know what's happened there. The car's just shut off. I don't even... Automatic braking system? Hello? It looked like the car was braking in the pit lane. That was very strange. The car just ground to a halt. It came into the pit lane. It had a stab at the brakes. You could see his head go forward. It did it again, and then it's completely jammed stop. That was very strange. That was very strange from Franco Colapinto. Very strange indeed. Very strange. Just ground to a halt. Very strange. So, George Russell on the soft compound tyres. Purple through both sectors. 24.3 through the first sector. 27.9 through the second sector. At the moment, the micro sectors looking not too bad. Through the top part of the circuit, probably wasn't the fastest, but at the moment he's 1.2 seconds up on his personal best time. This will be an absolute stonking time, and yes, it is. 1 second faster than Lewis Hamilton, a 1:32.8. 1.5 seconds faster than Lewis Hamilton in that Ferrari. 1.5 seconds faster. Brand new set of soft tyres. Yes, nobody's done a real qualifying run yet. But a 1:32.8 and 1.5 seconds faster. Does that not show Mercedes are about to dominate? Wow. I just spat everywhere. Kimi Antonelli P2. 1:32.9. What a lap from the young Italian. Kimi Antonelli P2. 1/10 off his teammate. Mercedes, qualifying pace, 1.3 seconds faster. If they stitch it all together, they're 1.5 seconds faster. Yes, nobody else has done a qualifying simulation yet. But on genuine qualifying pace, that is probably the best that car's going to get. Leclerc up at a P3, only 7/10 off the pace on a 133.5. You take Mercedes out of this question, Ferrari are probably the next fastest car, then McLaren. If I'm going to have my prediction there. So McLaren, 3rd or 4th fastest, but they're on par with Red Bull. They're on par with Red Bull at the moment. Yes, pre-season testing, Red Bull looked quick, but as round 1 approached, Mercedes just came out of the bag firing. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. Lewis Hamilton on the exit of the curb there, kicking up dust, and as the straight mode on that car, sorry, not the straight mode, the active aero on that car becomes available to him. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. First sector, 3/10 faster than Leclerc. Second sector, 2/10 faster than Leclerc. Third sector, 3/10 faster than Leclerc. Overall, he's nearly a second faster in overall pace than Charles Leclerc. Nearly a second faster. That is surprising. Wow, that's quick. That is a very quick Mercedes. But what this also does, with 9.5 minutes to go, Hamilton over the radio.
Give me a plan, mate.
Oh, here we go, Ferrari.
So,
Here we go, Ferrari.
Still P3. Now Mercedes managed to use the soft. They are 1.3 seconds ahead of us.
It's looking a bit better than lap.
Oh,
At the end.
And he's had to, Lewis Hamilton.
oh, Ferrari. Oh, my God. Ferrari, please. Get a grip. Get a grip. Oh. Mercedes is 1.3 seconds faster than us. Oh, of course they are. Jeez. Bernie Collins.
The cars have just rolled out on the soft tyres, so
Ferrari.
preparation that they should be coming through roundabout now to the second half of the lap, and it's impressive how committed they are here. The smaller cars, you really do see how edgy they can be in a corner like this. They're coming through there, just preparing, I think, for a lap. George Russell closing his lap, and honestly, George looks very neat and tidy. It doesn't look like he's pushing it quite to maybe the qualifying limit of what we might see later, which is a little bit scary to think of the potential of that car. But the exit curve here at turn 16 is pretty treacherous. They put this gravel trap in and it doesn't allow any room for error, but the car's bottom a lot. So as we see the Ferrari, and actually if we stay on the Ferrari, that rear wing now, it looks so different to everything else. But yeah, the amount of commitment on the entry here is critical, and obviously on the exit there's very, very little room to get it wrong.
I mean, Bernie, gotta think, there's very little room to have any error around this circuit. It's a bit scary. But yeah, again, the curb on the exit of turn 16 is very treacherous. I mean, there's a whole load of dust that's in the curbstone as well that gets kicked up, and again, the car's bottoming out over the curb, which is a big talking point. But yeah, again, the curbs will only rubber in throughout the weekend. All that dust that sits in the curbstone will just clear away quite a bit. So that will become less and less of an issue when the track rubbers in a little bit more throughout the weekend. These are the second cars out on track. All the Macarena and Halo winglets for P5 and P6 Ferrari. But yeah, again, that'll become less and less of a problem when the track rubbers in a little bit more. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with the Ferrari crew there. That is, I'm still like, I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed because I'm not a Ferrari fan, if I'm being completely honest with you. I know Ferrari can do so much better. They just can't bottle with their strategy. I mean, I saw something on Instagram on Wednesday, after I finished streaming on Wednesday, and it was F1 recap of Australian Grand Prix, and it was almost about Ferrari. Ferrari, virtual safety car. Ferrari don't box. Another virtual safety car. FIA are on Ferrari's side. They close pit entry. Ferrari can't box. So, I mean, technically, it isn't Ferrari's fault. The first pit stop, of course, it was Ferrari's fault. It was always going to be Ferrari's fault. But the second pit stop, they had the opportunity there to box. But, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they could have boxed on a green flag, but then it's the risk of, like, yeah. I mean, there was always a chance. There was always a chance of there being another virtual safety car. So I suppose they risked it. But then them not knowing that the pit lane would have closed. So there's many different ways that they could have probably thought about that. I reckon, to be honest, if they boxed under green flag, there would have been no loss anyway. Like, there would have been no loss anyway. Because they would have... Yeah. There would have been no loss anyway. If I'm being completely honest with you. There would have been no loss. Like, they closed the pit lane. Yet some of their rivals got in, but, like, they would have had fresh tyres. I reckon if they boxed 5 or 6 laps before the virtual safety car, again, there was no way of them predicting that, but, like, if they boxed a couple laps after the virtual safety car, they would have been fine. If they went to hards, they would have been fine. And then they probably could have gone most of the race. And then boxed on the green flag again. But then, again, there's a lot of time lost in that. So, Ferrari just need to come up with a better strategy. They just need to come up with a better strategy. If I'm going to say that simply, they need to come up with a better strategy. And guess who agrees with me? It is Gag Chaban agrees with me on that one. They do. They agree with me. He certainly does agree with me. Kimi Antonelli purple for the first sector. They definitely misjudged tyre degradation, that's it. Yeah, tyre degradation was quite big, if I'm being completely honest with you. I mean, we even saw that through qualifying as well. Like, the soft tyres were quite deadly. They died quite quickly. Even I wasn't expecting there to be much deg this weekend. Like, I was genuinely coming into Thursday. They had supercars. They had the Australian supercars out on track. And, like, they seemed fine through their free practice sessions. So, they didn't have much tyre deg. So, it was quite strange to see the F1 with the amount of tyre deg that they had. 3.5 minutes to go, though. Soft tyres on all the cars now, and all the drivers are putting lap times in. Gabriel Bortoleto up at a P13. We've had Piastri up at a P3. Leclerc up at a P4. Norris up at a P5. Verstappen up at a P8 only, and 2 seconds off the pace. Hadjar, P17. His personal best through both sectors at the moment. We'll see what he can do as he makes his run through turn 14. And out the other side, get the power down. That car did have a bit of a snap. It was quite a big snap, actually, on the exit. It would have cost him about a tenth or two, if anything. Making his run to the line now. Hadjar, only P14. Red Bull are in trouble. Red Bull are in trouble here in the early part of the weekend. Here in free practice 1. What does Nico Hülkenberg do as he makes his run to the line? P9 in that Audi. Audi are close to outperforming Red Bull. If I'm being completely honest with you, we did see last year Kick Sauber were working on the Audi car, and I think that's paid off. They've been working on the Audi car for this year. They've been planning, and I think that's worked. I think that's worked in their favour because they're almost on par with Red Bull. Being completely honest with you, they are almost on par with Red Bull in the early part of the season here. And yes, in my prediction in Australia in free practice 1, I was saying that, like, they weren't going to be as close, Audi and Red Bull. But this weekend, they just look closer. They just have. Like, Hülkenberg is only 0.08 of a second off Max Verstappen. Again, it's free practice, but we'll see if my theory is right. We'll see if my theory is right come sprint qualifying. If it's not right, then, you know, you get that. But we'll see. We shall see. Also, Adam, if you're still in the stream, you will be able to watch along with me come F1 Academy practice. You'll be able to actually... Ooh, no, I don't think you will. I don't think you will. But the qualifying stream, you will be able to. That will be probably about an hour or so time. But the qualifying stream, the F1 Academy qualifying stream, you'll be able to watch along with me. So, yeah. Stick around for that. Stick around for that, my friend. You'll be able to watch along. Because I know you like watching along with me. Yeah, Charles Leclerc on the exit, big sideways moment, into the gravel for Charles Leclerc, and that would have been his lap abandoned. Round the final corner, and that was a qualifying simulation from the Ferrari, and a big off moment in the gravel. At the exit of the final corner, we did hear a lot about that curb so far this weekend. That is an off moment for Charles Leclerc, though. And P4 as he went to go finish his second qualifying simulation lap. It's a big off. Yeah, it makes it more interesting because then I know what you're talking about where can I find it. You won't be able to watch practice because it's streamed on a live service, so it's not on YouTube. They don't stream it on YouTube, but you can watch qualifying. That will be live. Charles Leclerc, though, look at that. That is a big sideways moment. He's just misjudged, I would like to think. Carried a bit too much speed. Car got sideways and has kicked up a whole bunch of gravel. And Lando Norris, who was the next car behind him, was a victim of a whole bunch of gravel on the racing line down there. Very much a victim. Lando Norris, again, making his run through. So that was Oscar Piastri that became a victim to all that gravel. Lando Norris making his run to the line. It's 133.2. Gabriel Bortoleto to the line. P12. Lando Norris, though, P3 and 3/10. Only 3/10 off the pace of Kimi Antonelli. Isaac Hadjar on a second flying lap. It does not look any good at the moment. He's P14. And he's not improving whatsoever. So I think that might be it. We will see what the Williams cars can do, actually, because they're P16, P17. They did have a few issues back in Australia, but I'm not sure if they've cured that. I'm not sure if they have cured any of those issues. Isaac Hadjar, though, making his run round the final corner. Actually having to lift round the final corner for Isaac Hadjar. Run to the line. Only P13. Only P13. So both Red Bulls, P8 and P13. That's a big talking point come qualifying. Also a big talking point is both McLarens seem to have slightly stepped up their game a little bit. Yuki Tsunoda has been demoted to reserve driver. RIP. Also another big shocker. McLaren, P3 and P4 didn't seem to have the pace last weekend. They've shown it now. They've shown what pace they can get out of these cars. Kimi Antonelli and George Russell. First sector, Antonelli. Second sector, Antonelli. Third sector, Russell. Kimi is nailing 75% of the lap, just not doing it in the last 25% of the lap. Needs to improve on that, quite possibly. But yeah, that's it. That is it for free practice. Gonna stick around for a couple more minutes, get your guys' points of views on how this weekend might go. Give me your predictions in the chat. Give me your predictions in the chat. I didn't miss a chat, actually. We've got Gagan Chavin with saying, which team and driver do you support like favourites? Favourite, McLaren. I support them. I like McLaren. Don't mind them. And I've been a bit of a Haas supporter as well. I'm not a big fan of Haas, but I do support them. I don't mind them. Let me just tell... Oh, Behrman around. RIP. Well, Haas already in the muds. Ollie Behrman making his run out of the second corner and is just... Wow. That was very close to actually making contact with, I think that was Fernando Alonso. No, it was Lance Stroll. Getting... Oh, wow. Almost spun right in front of Lance Stroll. And that is some good reactions from Stroll there. Wow, that's some good reactions, must I say. That is some good reactions. Stay around, everybody, by the way. We've got F1 Academy next, so stick around. F1 Academy next out on track. We've got practice for them. Then straight into qualifying. So yeah, should be fun. Straight into qualifying for them. Then we're back for sprint qualifying. Straight after that as well. So quite a busy next hour or so before then hitting the track for sprint quali a bit later tonight. Oscar Piastri though. Getting a practice start in. We'll see actually how these cars run here we did see it was a very fast, launch in Australia. Funnily enough, very fast launch. The blue lights came on, and then the red lights come on, and I think we only got to 4 lights, and the lights went out, and they were gone. It was a very fast launch. It was very fast. So we'll see what happens this weekend. Should be quite exciting. As to if they fix that within the last 4 days, we'll see. We will see. We'll see how that runs. We'll see how that rolls this weekend. Let's take a look at the results for free practice 1 here in Shanghai. And George Russell has topped it. Kimi Antonelli in second, and Lando Norris in P3. What a run for himself. Oscar Piastri, P4. Charles Leclerc, P5. Lewis Hamilton in P6. Ollie Behrman in P7. Max Verstappen, P8. Nico Hülkenberg in P9. And we've got Pierre Gasly in position 10. About 2 seconds off the pace there for the Alpine team. And another big talking point, Red Bull Ford, P8 and P13 for both Red Bulls. Liam Lawson, Gabriel Bortoleto, Isaac Adler, Esteban Ocon, Franco Colapinto, Alex Albon, Carlos Sainz, Fernando Alonso, Valtteri Bottas in P19, and Lance Stroll in P20. Cadillac, P19, and I think that was P21, P22. Ivan Lindblad in position 21 in the red RB. And yeah, not bad. Not bad. And Sergio Perez in position 22. So yeah, fast and firing qualifying practice session for F1. Very interesting to see the pace of all the drivers. And yeah, stick around everybody, because we've still got practice starts going on. We've also got F1 Academy out on track next for free practice. Out on track next. Then we've got qualifying. So yeah, should be fun. We're now building up to sprint qualifying. Build up to sprint qualifying in a couple hours' time. We'll be live from a 30-minute build-up for Sky Sports F1. So Sky Sports F1 will be building up to sprint qualifying, and then I'll be running through the whole of sprint qualifying. But yeah, stay tuned. I'll be back in about 5 or 10 minutes' time. We'll be back for F1 Academy. Should be fun. It's up next. Catch you guys in a minute.